Hello. Greetings, everyone. This is going to be a quick one. Oh, Wetin una do Felix Morka? Obedience. What did you people do to him? The man is crying up and down. What did you people do to him? Eh? Good morning to everybody. Oh, now well done. Oh, how na day? How everybody day? This one a quick one. Oh, as I see say Felix Morka dey cry up and down. Wetin una do? Obedience, wetin una do dis man? The man say he don receive over 200 death threats after his comments. Why? Obedience, no, you should do better. Make una do better now. Obedience, why? Why you bullying? Why you bullying the bullies? They're not liking it. They're not liking it. Obedience, why? This is so unfair. Obedience, why now? Why? Why do they do like this? Felix Monka, they cry. This is not person papa now. This is somebody's uncle now. Somebody's grandfather. You people, come on. Show some respect. Have some respect. Why you people don't have respect? Don't you people respect others where you come from? Eh? Wanna respect now? Obedience. Tracy. Wetin una do Felix? Tracy how na notification genge. I'm telling you. Wetin una do Felix? Mbok, make una come talk, make una come report una selves because the man has been crying. The man the man has been crying. No, abeg God forgive me. Oh. Eh? The man has been crying. What did people do to him? What did Felix Morka do? What has he done that nobody else has done? What's up with you people? Where are your manners? Where are your manners? Why are you people doing like this? Why you people don't respect your elders no more? What's wrong with you people? Eh? Is that how you were trained? No respect for elders? Come on now. Come on, guys. You can do better than that. You people are better than that. When they go low, you go high. What's up with this? What's up with this mess that you people are doing? Come on now, get it together, guys. Get it together. Get it together. The man don dey cry since so. I don't know what I want to tell you. The man has been crying, saying that obedience. You people have been doing him strong thing. You people have sent the man after that. The man felt deny, say not threatening Peter Obi. He threatened am. Mona show proof. Mona show evidence of how he take threaten Peter Obi. Say not threaten Peter Obi. He no know where una take sit down one. He no talk anything. Right? He just say, he just allude, he just talk something like that. You understand? But he say he not threatening. One are they threatening? You understand? He say he not threatening am. He says so he not know. He be civil rights attorney, he be civil rights lawyer for Nigeria. Mr. Pius, welcome. Oh, thank you. Greetings. Eh? What do una do to Felix Morka, Mr. Pius? Una come talk. All ye children of Nigeria that don't used to hear word, you people should come and talk. You're making your elders run up and down, helter skelter. You people are letting your elders run up and down and cry. Why? Eh? Why are people doing this? Why are you doing this? The man has been crying since. Eh? The man has been crying since. You no know say him cup don full tey. E be like so na don dey write him name down. E be one of the people wey na write him name down. Okay. Una don dey count the days for am. At least one I no know say him cup don full. We have been setting trap for him. He fall enter this one o. He fall enter this one. Yeah, I say wahoo. Eh? Wow. Eh? The man has been crying all over the place. Crying all over the place. By the way, hey, this is an aside though. Omo, did you see how they welcomed I have to clear my throat to say this. Did you get the guys see how they welcomed the my, my president from Burkina Faso? Did you guys see that? You see, in Burkina Faso, we don't mess around. We are not like you people, you Nigerians. You Nigerians don't know what you are doing. Did you see how my president was welcomed, Traore? Do you people see the applause that that he received? Okay, if he is, he go run now. Loved, loved. Una see una performance, una T-Pain performance for the Nigerians. Are you people see your T-Pain there? Woo! They sweet my belly. Wait, oh, una see am? Damn, this guy is loved. I'm happy. I'm very, very happy that Ghana is, at least allowing them. Don't be like Nigeria. Una T-Pain. When won't cause katakata for them. Hmm? Man, kudos to that man. Oh. May God continue to protect him and preserve him. May God continue to preserve and protect him. Eh? I was just smiling the entire time. I was just smiling. I was like, wow, this is wonderful. Eh? Now, hey, that news, oh, this one no concern me, but I see him. I say, make I talk. Hey, Mama Echo, welcome. Oh. T-Pain was a ghost. Nobody's. I'm telling you. See when did they give his speech? Wait, I know what he talk. I'm not here. I was busy being distracted by my president, Traore. President Traore. My president. More than not follow and drag me. More than not follow me drag him because I know it's in my name be for Burkina Faso. So yeah. When I hear what una president talk, I make person help me interpret am for comment section. Cannot hear wetin talk. I was busy distracted by my president. Did you know, this is an aside though, that in October 12, 2011, this is just an aside again, BBC News reported that 9,000 children from Uganda in Africa were missing, and that at least 400 of them were abducted and trafficked to the United Kingdom to be used for blood rituals. A lot is going on in Africa, and the leaders are complacent. Mm. Omo, back to una woes Morka left, right, and center. Una woes that man. But why don't you people respect your elders? I don't understand. Why una not dey respect una elders again? Tracy, can you explain that? Mr. Pius, what's going on? What's going on? Why is there no respect for elders anymore? Eh? Where is there no respect for men anymore? Eh? Remember when what's his name? Is it Ayofayoshe? I think it was 2020. There was an interview he gave. I saw somebody share the clip of it. I think yesterday or so, right? This man said Peter Obi supporters will continue after general election. That's what he told them. They assumed that support for Peter Obi was going to dwindle. By the way, I don't ever consider myself obedient to. Me now, Peter Obi are the support because a lot of the other people there are just, for me, they are just there for their own selfish purpose. So now Peter Obi, let me put let me the focus on. This man had warned, Ayo she had warned them. If at all, even though it's not like I support the man, I don't know him much. I don't, from what I've seen so far, the one that was heaving and breathing heavily when what's his name? Uh, Rufai was asking him questions. I can never forget that interview. He's the one that said, he will continue after the general election. They know the strength of Peter Obi. Why are they even afraid of the man? What are they afraid of? What the man said, was it a lie? That's the question. What the man said was, did Peter Obi lie? Was there any lie detected? Why be say when Peter Obi talk, they are triggered? What triggers them? What makes them feel like they have, that this man does not have a right. Anytime everybody else can talk, even Atiku has spoken. I don't see them going after Atiku. All the other people will talk, they won't say anything. But once Peter will be open his mouth, pim, you see them rushing. They'll just send their attack dogs. Reno will be bleating like a cookie that we don't know, right? Another one will come, appear from nowhere. They'll just be going in on him. What did he do? What has he said? I personally have been expecting him to mount his opposition very strongly. Some of us have been like quietly waiting for him to show more and more of this side. So I don't understand. Things are terrible. You keep wanting to make people believe that things are not bad in Nigeria, but things are bad. If things are good, people will come out. You don't even, you as the politicians or as the government, you won't even need to say anything. The people will be saying it for you. They'll be saying, "Oh my God, since this man entered, price of food, price of gas, things are much better. The roads that have been bad for years are being fixed. There's water in my village now. There's insecurity has greatly reduced." You understand what I'm saying? Eh? Why? So, if the people are feeling the impact of your policies, they will come and announce. They will tell. Nigerians don't know how to keep quiet. They will come and spread the news. They will say, "Oh, by the way, oh my God, it's such an amazing. Oh my goodness." Well, and if he was doing anything, people say, "Well, now back here, the thing enter, sha. If for pass window enter," but it be like saying, "No, what thing they do." That's what Nigerians would have been saying, but they are not saying that because they are not feeling it. If something dey happen, if change dey happen, people dey feel am. If you no feel am, you no get wetin you wan talk, right? But once Peter Obi just mention, everybody will be complaining, they won't say anything. But let Peter Obi just whisper. As much as whisper, you will see them up in arms, running up and down, looking for ways to, I don't understand, looking for ways to hand the man, clip the man. If they do not arrest that Morka for that threat that he put out, that Peter Obi has overstepped his bounds, he should come, they should bring him back and ask him, what bounds did Peter Obi overstep? Let us know. If the security agents do not pick Felix Morka up, then we have a problem in Nigeria. As a people, we should be demanding that the DSS pick up Felix Morka for saying the crap that he came to say on national TV over somebody else's life that's not looking for his trouble, that's not checking for him. We don't know who he is. I didn't never knew who Felix Morka is until he showed up. I didn't know who he is. Why would you be threatening a man who has been peaceful all along? Una thief in mandate. He no talk anything. He go court that was rigged against him. On top of that one, the entire judges on a buy, insult him, insult everybody when support Peter Obi. He no talk anything. He had the opportunity to trigger a gargantuan revolution. He not talk anything, say no, let's be peaceful, let's not tear down our country. That's what the man did. Now you people, now that everybody's feeling it, none of you guys showed up to go and visit those in the IDP camps. None of you politicians or government officials thought enough, had enough sense to put together to say, let's go and check those in IDP camps that are living in IDP camps in their countries. Nobody did that. Christmas and New Year came. There was nothing. You people did do anything. The only man that is taking the time to go around, that is doing the job that you guys ought to be doing. You people want to use that to silence him. Una not fit silence this one, though. Sorry. Una no go fit silence this one. E don't become fish bone for una neck. Eh? You guys keep pushing and pushing. It's almost like you're looking for the trouble. You are looking for it because you assume, because you have everything on your side, you're most definitely gonna win. That's what you think. You'll be greatly mistaken, no. As the Bible talk, let he who think he's standing take heed. Hence he falls. Abi, I don't be so that they talk. You think you have all the armory, everything, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we have it secure here. We have them on lockdown. You go shock. One mistake, okay? One mistake, everything all the cards will come crumbling down. Now, this world we are human beings, flesh and blood. anything can happen at any given moment. So people should not be too confident. You're confident now because you feel like the physical things that you have around you is enough to secure you. You'll be shocked. Oh, he did Arise News Morning Show today. You know, you know what? Let me bring, I mean, don't want to do, but I got to do this. I got to do this. Let's switch devices. He give, make we listen to the foolish response. Yeah, man. Let's listen to it. Eh? It's crazy. This man is doing the job that all of you are supposed to be doing. The man, they see wetin dey happen. He's on ground. Now they travel by road. Now they follow the way when common men they follow. If the man go talk small, now want to ground the man. Now they shut am down. What you people, do you think that you can force people not to say anything? If people are feeling pain, they will cry out. He's even giving you people an idea of what is going on in the country. Some of you people to take it and say, okay, let's see what we can do about this. So no, you want to silence him by all means. And you understand? You know that interview that you told me about, Tracy, right? That interview that you made me play yesterday. I was thinking about what the man said, and it's so true. If this man, he says he cannot because they are clueless, they don't know what they are doing. These people do not know what they are doing at all. It's such a shame. They don't know what they're doing. No clue, no vision, nothing. They're just grasping at the wind, at straws. Eh? Sorry, one and verse. Hey, gist and chill. Well done, welcome, How you doing now? How's everything with you? Let's listen to the response of this mumu man. Mumu. Come, okay. I have received 400. He never start. He ain't seen nothing yet. He ain't seen nothing yet. These people are jokers. A man that is peaceful, even the fact that your candidate stole and came in through the window, the man still called for peace. You people want to, hey, you people don't know what's going on, no. Hey, I beg you. All right, we're going to listen to 2 interviews. More Tracy, your head did here.
Didn't think it can get worse.
The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and supporters of the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, engaged themselves in a war of words over an alleged threat to the life of the former Anambra State governor. This emanated from Peter Obi's New Year's message, where he criticized some of the federal government's policies and also the security situation in Nigeria. Responding to Peter Obi's new message, the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Felix Morka, accused the Labour Party presidential candidate of peddling falsehoods, inciting Nigerians against the APC-led administration, and continued by saying, and we quote, Mr. Obi has crossed the line so many times. I think that at this point, he has coming to him whatever he gets. He should manage it.
Mr. Obi is shooting from the hip. He's not looking, he's not taking an aim. He just, shoots widely like, what we used to see in movies back in the day, in the Wild Wild West. He is not being rational. He's absolutely irrational in his thinking and in his public commentary for a man who was governor for 8 years, who left nothing to remember in Anambra State by way of a legacy or transformation. But all of a sudden, he served as governor 8 years. He didn't have the wisdom or the smarts to change Anambra State, to make Anambra the beacon that example of, governance in the country. But then, he runs for president, in 2023. And then now he didn't win. He's sulking rather than actually get a perspective and, figure out what he did to lose so he can do better in the future. He would think that he can bring down the government by simply, being maliciously deceptive. That is wrong. I'm not somebody to, to go on that offensive in that manner. But Mr. Obi has crossed the line so many times. And I think that at this point, he has coming to him whatever he gets, he needs to manage it.
However, in a statement on Tuesday, the APC National Publicity Secretary clarified that his remarks were not a threat to the former Labour Party presidential candidate, but rather an emphasis on Obi's tendency to lie about the ruling party and its performance in office. Reacting to Morka's interview, the national coordinator of the Obedient Movement, Yunusa Tanko, warned the APC against intimidating Obi, his family members, or close associates, insisting that such a threat should not be allowed to go unaddressed. Reacting via his official X handle, Obi wondered how a harmless New Year message he gave could elicit a threat from the APC spokesman. Joining us on this show this morning to discuss this latest development is Felix Morka, the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress. Welcome to the morning show, Mr. Morka.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bati.
Very good. Now, straight question. Who is threatening who? The Labour Party and Mr. Peter Obi and Yunusa Tanko have said in the public domain that you threatened Peter Obi, his family members, his associates, by saying that he has crossed the line of truth, you allegedly said, and that he should be prepared for what he will get. And whatever he gets, he should manage it. What is he going to get for exercising his freedom of free speech? And now the APC has also turned around to say that you yourself are now being threatened by an online mob who has threatened you, who has phoned you, who has threatened members of your family. Because now we're dealing with the politics of threats in Nigeria, which should be a major step back for our democracy. If we could just clarify these two sides of the controversy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bati. You just played back the tape of the interview I had with this station, in which a very specific question was put to me. And the question, because when you play the tape, it's important for the viewers to understand the question I was responding to. I was not speaking in a vacuum. I was responding to a very specific question put to me during that interview by your colleague. And the question was this: you have hit back with a volley of attacks, calling Peter Obi a prophet of doom. Some of you have said he's always embarking on voodoo economics that are not in line with the current realities. Do you think this is a slingshot that has gone beyond normal politicking?
Listen, if you've been in a car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app instead. That's what I did, and that's how I got this $140,000 check in less than 30 seconds. Listen, I know it sounds crazy, but trust.
Now, I said in my answer, including the last sentence which you referenced, was in direct and exclusive response to the reference to Peter Obi as a prophet of doom or as engaging in economics. So in other words, my answer was, if Peter Obi was called a prophet of doom or was called a voodoo economist, he has it coming to him because he has crossed several lines of truth. End of story. End of story. There's nothing else to suggest in those words that I said in the moment of an interview that, saying Peter B has been, speaking a lot of, falsehood, quite frankly.
He says he has received death threats.
From who exactly?
Could it be that your statement, it was a form of incitement, to pro-Tinubu, pro-administration persons?
No. You see, he who alleges must prove. If Peter B says anyone threatened him, he must, beyond just saying, I've been threatened, Peter B, I think he, for a man in his standing, he should adduce or, supply some evidence of those who threaten him. Because if anyone threatened Peter B, we shouldn't be having a conversation in your studio. The law enforcement system should be looking for those who threatened Peter B's life. So, but the point, I want to make two major points. One is that I, Felix Morka, did not threaten Peter B. Nothing I said in that interview begins to even suggest remotely that, Peter B, I was asking anything other than saying to the man who was asking me a question, you hear guys are calling him prophet of doom or, voodoo economist. And I said, well, you know what, if that is what it's called, he has, he deserves it because he's crossed the line of truth. Now, I don't know by what medium or by what, effort do you then transmogrify that conversation into a threat to Obi's life and the life of his family or those around him. Okay, that is libel in the extreme.
I know Mr. Obi likes to quote figures from Bangladesh, from India, from China, but that's not what we're talking about. Let's move to the second leg of it. Has anybody threatened you? Because your own party is saying you have been threatened. And who are those people who have threatened you? How?
Actually,
because you are alleging. Absolutely. You should also prove.
As it turns out, Peter B's allegation that the words I spoke in that interview threatened his life. Now, immediately, as I speak, I have documented no less than 400 threats, about over 200 of which are death threats. Document. I'm not talking about people these are written texts that I have carefully documented and which, I'm providing to the law enforcement agencies, or people really telling me how they, graphically describing how they intend to take me out, to shoot me, behead me in graphic language. You see, this is not a joke. And it's gone further to some members of my family who have also been, threatened directly. I'm not speaking about just, suggesting in graphic, language. You see, but, I'm not concerned about that because, what has triggered this entire insanity cannot be attributed to me. I did not threaten Peter B. And so anybody who is threatening me, that is their decision to do so. But, I hope that our law enforcement system will respond as effectively as possible to also, bring those individuals to justice.
All right, thanks so much. And I'm really sorry that you're having to go through death threats. It's unfortunate and sad that this is what politics in Nigeria has, descended to. However, going back to Dr. Abati's first question, I don't think you responded to that clearly. It was on this station you made the statement, and I would read the statement back to you.
Yes.
And you have an opportunity now to clarify that statement. In all the statements I've seen you, and including statements from your party members, they've only just said you did not threaten. But the big question is,
what's your credit card debt balance? If it's $10,000 or more, here are 3 easy solutions you can start implementing today. And number 3, an absolute game changer. Number 1, the first step to tackling your credit card debt is understanding how much debt you actually have and how long it could follow you around for.
Clarify what you mean so that it's not ambiguous, it's not open to misinterpretation. You said he has crossed the line so many times and has it coming to him whatever he gets. What did you mean by that statement?
Look, I think I did as high actually, but let me clarify that. Now, in the statement that I put out yesterday in response to this allegation, I was very clear. Now, first of all, what I meant in the context of the question Because you can't think about crossing the line outside of the question I was responding to. I didn't come to make an independent statement. I was asking the question. You just asked me a question, I'm responding now. Absolutely. Okay. So what I said, and I stand by what I said, which is that the question was, you called, or APC has called Peter Obi, and by the way, the issue of prophet of doom was not my word. Let me just be clear. In my statement, responding to Peter Obi's New Year message, I said that based on his extreme pessimism, he's starting to become Nigeria's leading doomsayer. That was what I said. And what is a doomsayer? Check any dictionary. It talks about somebody who is, intently pessimistic. That's my language. But, the media, because people are more familiar with prophet of doom than doomsayer, it became prophet of doom. Okay, that was the language that the interviewer put to me. And I said, simply, you have called Peter Obi doomsayer. And I answered, if he has been called doomsayer or prophet of doom, he deserves it because he has crossed the line of truth so many times. That is the open and shut point that was made in that interview. It was a response to, you called Peter Obi, prophet of doom. And I said, well, yes, he's been called prophet of doom because he is, peddled a lot of false narratives.
Yeah, but said, and has it coming?
Yes, meaning
has it coming to him?
Prophet of doom, whatever name he's called in this context, prophet of doom, voodoo economist, or economist voodoo, or doom prophet, he has it coming. Meaning that is simply an English language expression. And quite frankly, I think that, like you said, in our politics today, I know that partisanship can be, intensely polarizing. But when you speak about people's lives, we shouldn't commonize it. Absolutely. I'm Felix Morka. Of what use? I'm not in competition with Peter Obi. I am not running for president today. Peter Obi is not my opponent. Felix Morka versus Peter Obi. I don't have anything that I'm challenging Peter Obi or he's challenging me about. I speak for my party. When Peter Obi comes on national television on a New Year Day and reels out a lot of facts that I consider to be misleading, it is my duty as the national spokesman of APC to, clarify. And in my statement, there was nothing condescending. I simply said, you got it wrong. Because, for instance, crossing the line of truth means, in Peter Obi's campaign to be president, he said, on day one, I'm going to take out fuel subsidy. Tinubu took out fuel subsidy on day one. Peter Obi has continued to lambast Tinubu. And I said, on that score, you are crossing the line of truth. You also promised to do the same thing. On the issue of harmonizing the dual exchange rate, Obi promised to harmonize dual exchange rate. Tinubu harmonized dual exchange rate. Obi has continued to lambast Tinubu about it. And I said, you are crossing the line of truth. On the issue of national security, or on the issue of youth employment, everything Peter Obi promised he was going to do, this president is, trying the best he can to do it. And I'm simply pointing out, when as a statesman, you want to discuss, the national fortunes or misfortune, it behoves on you, even when your interest lies more in advancing a false narrative or a negative narrative, because it makes you look like an alternative to what you consider negative. But you must do so with some level of, truth and facts, even if it's not truth, because truth can be relative. But at least facts can be a bit more objective, be factual. So if we say, for example, that on your show this morning, you did say that, IMTO inflows into Nigeria has risen by 60. That's an objective fact.
The fact
right?
that the poverty numbers, were they factual or not?
No. Because
Nigerians, 100 million Nigerians in poverty.
No, see, let me address that.
Multidimensional poverty. Was that fact?
See, as of 1999, 2001, 2011, over 45-48% of Nigerians were living in multidimensional poverty.
Currently, are they?
My point to you, yes. If I'm not here to. I'm not. Again, I'm not going to be. Talking about figures and what is accurate and what is not.
Talk about facts.
What I'm saying is that even if let's assume without conceding that the figures Peter Obi put out as those who are living in. The point I'm making in response is that long before Asiwaju thought of becoming president or running for president, a number that is very similar of Nigerians were living in multidimensional poverty. In other words, it didn't happen yesterday. And by the way, even if Nigeria, everything about what Peter Obi said, Nigeria started to turn the corner, everything started to look up, we're creating more employment. That is that data, statistics, takes a minimum of at least 10 years to reverse. You will not see any impact for at least 10 years. Those are long-term statistical, gestational period for evolution, for you to change that. So it doesn't happen in 18 months. It doesn't. And that's my point.
Right. So you said that you're challenging facts or the misrepresentation of facts.
Correct.
Is in essence, that's your duty. However, what we saw was an attack on a person, not an attack on facts. And this is the issue. So for you to exonerate yourself and say, I didn't start this, when Peter Obi's New Year's address very clearly addressed the issues, but yes, you say you were responding to a question. However, you're trained in this field and you could have turned your response into an address of the facts. My question to you is, why are we seeing this culture of toxic rhetoric from the spokespeople of this administration, not just from yourself, there's several of you who, who speak on behalf of this administration. Last time it was Olusegun Obasanjo who was told that, he's not even a worthy statesman to make this kind of statement on another issue. Another opportunity, it's Atiku Abubakar. Who is he to say all of this? He doesn't know what he's talking about. Why is there a culture of attacking the messenger as opposed to just dealing with the data?
No, I think you're getting this slightly wrong, if I must say. Now, if you read my statement in response to Peter Obi's statement, it had nothing but laying out those indicators of progress that I spoke about. That's it, Mr. B, while it's okay for you to see the economy and see Nigeria from your own, lens, it's important that you recognize certain objective, facts. For instance, in your studio here this morning, you did put out some information. Mr. Rotusu does a fantastic job. Says, look, that inflows into Nigeria has, gone up over the last year by nearly 60%. That is a fact. So, in other words, if I am, trying to speak to the economy and that issue, I will acknowledge that, look, while this is going on, there's a whole lot more to be done. Now, to say that everything is becoming worse by the day, that is factually incorrect. Now, let me say this. In my statement, from the beginning of my statement to the end of my statement, it was all about facts. The first paragraph was where I acknowledged what Peter B said. Otherwise, I simply gave examples of what I thought were positive indications that the policies of this government were moving in the right direction.
He's not entitled to sharing his own experience. No, his experience are that things are getting worse. Is he not entitled to sharing the truth of his reality?
He is.
Why do we attack people for sharing their reality?
Peter B is entitled to share his, understanding and his views and his own, if you say his reality, that's fine. But look, what I'm saying is that when Mr. B, when the president or the government puts out, its own record, and Peter B feels entitled, as you are suggesting, and I agree with you, that every Nigerian has a right to form their own opinion and, speak to it, no problem. But if Mr. B is entitled to speak his opinion to the president's or the government's own, narrative, what stops anybody else, including Felix Morka, under our constitution, the liberty to also say to Peter B, just like he is saying to the president and to the government, that you are not doing the right thing? What stops me in my own exercise of my constitutional freedom to say to Mr. B, actually, in your own pushback, your narrative, you are actually also getting it wrong. You see, I'm a human rights lawyer. Human rights and this entitlement to free speech is available to all of us. It's not exclusive to Mr. B or to me or to you or to Dr. Bati. It's available to all of us as human beings, as citizens. So when Mr. B, critiques a position of government or a record of government, Mr. B should, also be calm when others critique his own narrative, because, these are competing narratives, and we're in a political society where competing narratives are, people who are listening will choose. What do I believe? Do I believe that things are getting better, or do I believe that things are getting worse? That competition is a necessary aspect of a democracy, and the right to challenge each of the narratives is also a concomitant, right that we possess as citizens.
Look, I get your point about the right to free speech and how no right under Chapter 4 of the Constitution is absolute. Your right begins where my own stops. That's clear enough. But 2 quick things. Now, LP, Labour Party, and APC are the ones fighting now. But are you aware that the PDP presidential candidate, Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar, has also intervened in this matter? And he specifically accuses the APC administration of trying to stifle the voice of the opposition. And that the words you use in criticizing Mr. Peter Obi were derogatory, inflammatory, and, such words, he says, should not be used in decent community. That is Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party. So it's not just about Labour Party versus APC. It's not just about Felix Morka versus Peter Obi. And then the second leg of it, and I need you to pay attention to this. You said Mr. Peter Obi is sponsoring a mob of reckless people who are defaming people, attacking people, bullying people, threatening people on social media and everywhere. A headless mob of bullies. Are you referring to the obedience? And I would like you to comment further on that characterization of this mob that you say Peter Obi is sponsoring, and now that mob poses a threat to the administration and to society.
Thank you. As for the former vice president and his, intervention in this matter, I am certain that the former vice president has neither played back the tape of that conversation nor reviewed the transcription, the verbatim written transcription of that clip. I don't think he has done so, because if he did so, I would be surprised and disappointed that the former vice president would say the things he has said in relation to this matter. Dr. Bassett, that's not my word. I'm suggesting that he has not reviewed, that I want to assume that he has not reviewed the clip, watched the clip, nor considered the text, the translation, the verbatim transcription of that clip. If he has done so, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he will not come to the conclusion that he did. Somebody may have just told him, this is what Peter Obi has said, and he decides to respond without, any due diligence to understand exactly what was said. So I'm willing to grant him the benefit of the doubt, because if I truly believe that he said that, then I would again, be utterly disappointed in the former vice president. Now, but again, whatever he has to say or he has said, are entirely his, personal opinions, and that's fine. Now, on the second part of your question, yes, I have been threatened by those who, even in the messages, profess loyalty to Peter Obi, who has said to me directly that, this, what you've said, we believe constitutes a threat to Peter Obi's life. Even when I have put out information initially, before my statement yesterday, on the APC handle, providing the verbatim translation or transcription of what I said, I put that out and with the clip, relevant clip, so that you can listen and read. That has not persuaded them to get, an enlightened perspective of that conversation. Now, yes, these are people who profess loyalty to Peter Obi. Now, if I have followers who go around threatening, Felix Morka or anyone else for that matter, I would, call them to order and say, look, hey, this is not necessary. I will, speak, even when I feel like this individual has said something I don't appreciate, I would still say to them, do not do this. But, so far, Peter Obi was quick to, claim that my words threatened his life and that of his family falsely, according to me. However, up until now, even though I have said publicly that these followers of his are threatening my life and that of my family, I have not seen anything by way of a reprimand or a call for, for stay on the part of Mr. Obi.
In that regard, if I may comment. Now, I'm aware that Dr. Yunus Atanko, the spokesperson for the Labour Party, and also Mr. Peter Obi himself, they both pointed out that there's a difference between the Labour Party and the Obedience.
Oh.
I think one of them had said that the Obedience constitute a movement over which neither Peter Obi or Yusuf Tanko has any control. Okay. So will it not be too much for you to expect that Peter Obi can talk to a movement over which he has no control? They seem to have a mind of their own.
Dr. Bati.
Without the ones like you working tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. No matter your industry, Grainger's here for you with professional-grade supplies. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You, more than anyone else in this country, you're one of those people who follow, who understand what's going on in this country, and you've been in the system. Mr. Abadi, can you imagine this president, any group of supporters who are directly or remotely affiliated with this president, who tomorrow will go out to threaten people's lives? Can you, would you truly, realistically expect that Mr. Obi and Labour Party and the Obedience, who clearly are driven by him, would say, oh no, these ones who are Tinubu supporters are not, don't hold Tinubu responsible, don't suggest that he has any leverage with them to say, hey, stay. And when he doesn't do that, they will simply exculpate him and say, Mr. Tinubu, well done. You know what? Despite what the distinction you try to draw, I believe, and I think most Nigerians believe, that obedience, after what's obedience? Obedience are people who say they are obedient to Peter Obi. I mean, we're not going to argue about that. In any event, my point is that whether he calls them to order or not, I'm simply just underscoring what I believe to be, I think a departure from the duty of those who claim that they are statesmen, who bear a higher responsibility more than, some of us who are lesser mortals in this society of ours.
All right. Okay, just very quickly, to go back to my question around the statements made and just factual. You're not the president's spokesperson. You're the National Publicity Secretary of the APC. The APC has been in government for 8 years and counting. So these 10 years you say is actually under the APC government. So it means that it's an APC administration that plunged Nigerians into the poverty levels that we see today. So you can exonerate the current president, but it's also a president under the APC that under his administration, 133 million Nigerians are said to be multidimensionally poor. So it's the same thing. So whether it's the Buhari administration, the Tinubu administration is under the APC, Nigerians are poorer. True or false? Because let's deal with the issues now. Because, away from Mr. Peter Obi, Nigerians are saying that they are hungry. People are in multidimensional poverty. What do you have to say about that? So would you, and then I will ask on a final note, if for the sake of peace, so that we can, at least one person would extend the olive branch, would you say, as a result of perhaps your statement being misconstrued, an apology for the statement you made whilst you were here, that you will get because you've now clarified it, but at least apologize so that the people who had been going to make threats will then go, at least you wouldn't also be accused of leading a headless mob or people who are threatening Mr. Peter Obi and the Labour Party, members. So two things on that one. First, just an assessment of your administration. 8 years now under the Tinubu, as quickly as possible, please. Because we talk about 10 years, it was under the APC administration.
No, see, let me say this. Your question creates a context as though Nigeria began 8 years ago.
No, but you're the one who said 10 years ago. The poverty level.
I was talking about the statistical period and gestation. What I'm saying is that your question almost frames a context that Nigeria started 8 years ago or 10 years ago.
Listen, we are too grown to let diabetes boss us around. The Freestyle Libre.
It didn't. The Buhari administration came on top of nearly 2 decades of governance by the then ruling party.
It's 2 decades as well now. Oh, it's 1 decade, not 1 decade of administration.
So the Buhari administration was a corrective government. And correct it did as it did.
By plunging Nigerians into poverty?
No. Now, are you suggesting that Nigeria had no poverty? There was no poverty in this country?
They said more people
before.
got...
No,
because we have to deal with facts here. No, but we have to deal with facts here, Mr. Morka.
Hang on.
The facts are out there.
No, hang on.
More Nigerians were plunged into poverty under the APC administration.
Okay, can I ask you a simple question? Do you have the data of the Nigerians who lived in multidimensional poverty as of 2015?
Under the Jonathan administration, how many people? Less than 70%. Under the Buhari,
70%.
Yes, less
than 70% of Nigerian population.
Yes. Under the Buhari administration, it was over 70%, and at some point, Nigeria was actually ranking high as the poverty capital of the world. So I think that's just fact out there. I'm not saying that in terms of what you said.
But you see what you say. If you take the 10-year parameter you just mentioned,
yes.
So take it that in 10 years of the 10 years of the PB administration before 2015,
yes,
that Nigeria did not move anywhere. Because if, as of 2015, no. You see, you think about what I'm saying, please.
Okay.
Think about what I'm saying. If we, let's say, for the sake of this conversation, we're not economists, right? So let's say that 10 years is that period where we say whatever, the gestation period for transformation of that, data takes 10 years. It means that if 70% of Nigerians were living in multidimensional poverty as of 2015, it means that 10 years prior...
Yes, it was your administration that plunged more Nigerians into poverty.
Yeah, let's say 69%. Living in multidimensional poverty as of 2015. What I'm saying is that nearly 20 years of the PDP did not radically, that's 2 frames of data era, did not radically help this country reduce poverty. Now, the next 10 years that you're referring to, that people like to refer to, of the Buhari administration, now, added to the Tinubu administration. Yes. When you say that this APC administration of, let's say, the last, 8-9 years, is the reason Nigeria has the figure you read out of people who are living in multidimensional poverty, that is actually disingenuous. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry to say
that is not economics. That's utter... That's just being disingenuous. I'm so sorry about that.
Factual. It is, the facts are out there. The Buhari administration plunged more Nigerians, but we need to go.
Completely manipulated facts. It doesn't bear witness to the conclusion you're trying to give.
All the indices are there, but
it doesn't.
Thank you very much for joining us. On the morning show.
Thank you so much.
The conversation will continue.
Thank you.
This is politics. Occupational hazard, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
My God. Wow. Wow. That's all I can say. See the gaslighting. Lord have mercy. Hey, those 2 ladies, kudos to them. Ayo, and I don't know who the other lady, I think she's new. Kudos to her. She had the most succinct and on point question for this man. Hey, God, this is not person husband. People go marry, they go marry rubbish. Hey, God forbid, though. Shame. Eh? They even asked him, he didn't even respond to the second part of the question when they asked him, do you want to apologize? He didn't apologize. All he came to do was gaslight. If you say, as I hold my cloth as I watch this thing, you go to see a horror movie I watch. Wow. Almost, these APC people, they are unrepentant. So you go hard with them. There's no need. It has reinforced what I knew during the election. I remember when people used to come on my channel and say, let these APC people come, let's hear from opposing side. I say, you cannot argue, you cannot talk to these people. They are like zombies. Look at this man. Look at this man come and make a complete ass of himself. He could have just stayed out of giving or trying to come back on TV again. He came to reinforce. That's what he came to do. Look at him shaking, saying that he has taken names now of handles and everything that he's going to give to. So you feel threatened, but you don't feel like what you said to Peter Obi is enough to cause him to be threatened. You don't think that that's a threat to his life. Look at these people. They hear these people. If you not like anyway, now the woman I know I they do. Funalemon and Fonamona, they go soft with APC people. You give these people fight. Is it these people you want to do election with? Forget election. I've said it before. Me, I keep saying it. There will be no election 2027. As soon as they line they queue, they go declare. They go declare T-Pain again. God forbid. God damn, this man is an asshole. Jeez. Person marry put this one put for house now. They say my husband, my husband. This one get children now. They go they tell them say, oh, my hey, pue. God forbid. Women, please, ladies, marry well. I beg you in the name of God. For the sake of your lineage, please marry well. I beg you. Marry a man with integrity and honor. Someone who has respect for himself. That's not going to make a complete fool of his generation on TV. Jeez, his mates are presidents in other countries. Look at what this man came to do on a national TV network. And a shame on behalf of them. Let's watch the next one.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam Ferrari, and I.
Nigeria's ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, on Tuesday put out a statement through its handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, denying that its National Publicity Secretary, Felix Morka, ever said anything during a recent interview here on Arise News to threaten the life of former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi. The former governor of Anambra State had, in a post titled, "Have I Really Crossed the Line?" shared on his X handle on Monday, alleged.
Can you guys see my screen? I don't know what happened though. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, I'm going to play it again.
That Morka had issued threats following his criticism of President Bola Tinubu's administration in his New Year message. Well, earlier today, the APC spokesman was on the morning show here, this time to double down on his denial that he never issued any death threat.
You just played back the tape of the interview I had with this station, in which a very specific question was put to me. And the question, because when you play the tape, it's important for the viewers to understand the question I was responding to. I was not speaking in a vacuum. I was responding to a very specific question put to me during that interview by your colleague. And the question was this: you have hit back with a volley of attacks, calling Peter Obi a prophet of doom. Some of you have said he's always embarking on voodoo economics that are not in line with the current realities. Do you think this is a slingshot that has gone beyond normal politicking? Now, everything I said in my answer, including the last sentence which you referenced, was in direct and exclusive response to the reference to Peter Obi as a prophet of doom or as engaging in economics. So in other words, my answer was, if Peter Obi was called a prophet of doom or was called a voodoo economist, he has it coming to him because he has crossed several lines of truth. End of story. End of story. There's nothing else to suggest in those words that I said in the moment of an interview that, saying Peter Obi has been, speaking a lot of, falsehood. Quite frankly.
He says he received death threats.
From who exactly?
Could it be that your statement, it was a form of incitement, to pro-Tinubu, pro-administration persons?
No. You see, he who alleges must prove. If Peter Obi says anyone threatened him, he must, beyond just saying I've been threatened, Peter Obi, I think he, for a man in his standing, he should adduce or, supply some evidence of those who threaten him. Because if anyone threatened Peter Obi, we shouldn't be having a conversation in your studio. the law enforcement system should be looking for those who threatened Peter Obi's life. So, but the point, I want to make two major points. One is that I, Felix Morka, did not threaten Peter Obi. Nothing I said in that interview begins to even suggest remotely that, Peter Obi, I was asking anything, other than saying to the man who was asking me a question, he said, you guys are calling him prophet of doom or, voodoo economist. And I said, well, you know what, if that is what it's called, he has, he deserves it because he's crossed the line of truth. Now, I don't know by what medium or by what, effort do you then transmogrify that conversation into a threat to Obi's life and the life of his family or those around him.
Well, Nana Kazure is a former spokesperson for the Labour Party, who is now to react to this development. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, I'm sure you listened, to what the APC spokesperson Felix Morka had to say regarding the controversy over his alleged death threat towards Peter Obi. Is his explanation acceptable to you?
No, it's not. Thank you for playing, how he disgracefully tried to say end of story, how he embarrassingly decided to gaslight Nigerians on his very tactless comments that he made on this very auspicious platform. It's quite sad that I guess he's looking for more work in Mr. Tinubu's cabinet, and so he's just going on and on. He's received more than enough airtime, and we need to move on from this. Mr. Felix Morka is the one that has crossed the line. I do not really understand why security operatives have not picked him up so that he can explain what he meant by whatever Mr. Peter Obi has coming to him. He should take it like that. I paraphrase, but we all get the crux and the gist of the matter. Mr. Felix Morka he's supposed to be thanking a man like Mr. Peter Obi, who's doing his job, where he's too cowardly to speak to his party, to speak to the president about the situations that Nigerians are facing in this government with the reforms they have come up with. It's just clear that Mr. Morka is looking to be noticed. We have noticed him, and we have understood that he is, by his own words, a threat to Mr. Peter Obi. Like I said, he should rather thank Mr. Peter Obi for putting himself front and center. I have come to realize that the APC did not see a Mr. Peter Obi coming. They did not see an obedient movement coming. When he complains and gaslights Nigerians and complains about the movement to which I also belong, it's because Mr. Morka himself has taught those young people how to behave exactly like him. Every time he speaks, every time he vilifies, every time he tries to denigrate the person of Mr. Peter Obi and the obedient movement, he's actually describing himself. He's speaking about himself. We are not afraid. Who knows, I may not get home because I have said what I have said. But like Mr. Peter Obi said, if this be the end, then so be it. Nigerians should not be spoken to as less than human beings. Nigerians should not be treated as if they are animals. We are not in, we're not in a zoo. And for lack of a better word, I do not even want to go think about what someone like President Trump described Nigeria. When they say that Nigerians demarket Nigeria, Mr. Felix Morka is the first demarketer of Nigeria with such comments, with such careless talk. That's what I have to say to Mr. Morka. Thank you.
It's 2031, and I finally qualify for Mint 55 Plus, an exclusive plan.
Discussion is not taken out of context, and you will be safe, because we do see a situation where there seems to be freedom of speech, but not so much freedom after speech in the Idi Amin way. But let's discuss the language and tonnage of communication from spokespersons of the ruling party. What does it signal about this political climate that we are currently in Nigeria?
It's as though they just want to be autocratic. It's as though they just want to kill what democracy stands for. It's as though they just want to, stifle every Nigerian that has a contrary opinion theirs. I grew up in a home where we grew up with a lot of love, but we also had dissenting voices. And just because my voice is my opinion or my thought process differs from yours doesn't mean I'm your enemy. It doesn't mean that I hate you or that I dislike you. It just means that, on this God's green earth, we are all different. We cannot all be the same. And the APC is fast becoming a dictatorship. How does Mr. Morka think it's okay to say, rather than, it would have been more admirable if he just came, on air this and said, you know what, I was taken out of context, I apologize. Like I said, I don't know why security operatives haven't picked him up yet. They picked up Mr. Dr. Shehu Mahdi for alleging that they might be building, the government might be building a military base somewhere in Borno State. And he was picked up for questioning. Mr. Felix Morka has been given enough airtime in the media. Right now, I think he should be with the security operatives explaining why he made such a careless comment. Is he trying to tell us something? Is the APC or is the government planning something against His Excellency Peter Obi? This is a clear and present danger and worry for us. And it is wrong. Opposition is our fundamental human right. It is our right to speak. It is our right to ask questions. It is our right to put fire to their toes. It is our right to tell you where you are faulting. There are times that we go to visit internally displaced people, and we've had people say to us, please, can you help us speak on the matter of the minimum wage? I have not received my minimum wage yet. I can barely feed my family. Where is it on this green earth, in this Nigeria, that somebody sits down, explains to you what the situations are, which you may or may not be aware of, and tells you, if I was in this position, this is what I would do. If the APC and if Mr. Felix Morka were being honest, they would have heard where Mr. Peter Obi, at the end of his press brief, said, referring to the president, he said, may God bless you, God bless Nigeria. Those are not the words of a person who hates the government or who doesn't want the government to do well. We want the government to do well, but it's clear that nobody is telling them where they're going wrong. It's clear that everybody in their circle is afraid to speak to them. We're not afraid. We will speak, and we will speak for the people of Nigeria. I need to give Mr. Felix Morka a lesson, in a patriotism 101, the simple basics. The office of the Nigerian citizen, that which you are, that which I am, that which everybody listening to my voice is. Voice precede anybody's political party, anybody's political ambition, anybody's president. The office of every single Nigerian from age 0 to 100 or whatever should always precede personal interests. I think Mr. Felix Morka needs to learn that. Like I said, simple, basic patriotism 101.
So how do we tone down the rhetoric, and de-escalate tension, fear, and anxiety, especially within the obedient camp, seeing as the APC spokesperson remains defiant that he never threatened Peter Obi?
Find the lowest priced health plans at healthforcalifornia.com. Get a quote in 30 seconds. Find top carriers like Anthem, Kaiser, Blue.
Well, I don't know if you're a mom, but one thing as a mother that I do know is that when we're strict with our children, for example, you want to discipline your child, the first thing the child does is the child runs back to you. So if Mr. Felix Morka was more sensitive, then he would have done what I said. I've already responded. A simple apology. It takes nothing from him. It instead makes him the bigger person. It shows that the Nigerian citizen is important to Mr. Felix Morka,
no, but
whether
clearly,
or not
what I'm saying
you are
is
part of
clearly
his
the apology
that
is
means
not
he would have shown leadership.
Clearly, the apology is not
Well,
coming.
then
So how do we move
fine.
on from this?
That's fine. That's fine. I know that we'll move on from this. We are Nigerians. There will be something else that will come up. It's just that we won't forget. I think successive governments have been used to Nigerians forgetting. But now, with the advent of the internet, with the advent of the kind of youth that we have, we will not be forgetting. That's all.
And do you have?
We will just remember, and when it's time to go to the polls, we will take we'll take the necessary decisions. It's simple. Mr. Felix Morka has done what he wanted to do. He said what he wanted to say. He has refused to take responsibility, and that's what he has shown us, that he shouldn't have a place in leadership.
And do you have anything to say for the overarching APC, the ruling party of the day, who it seems has a spokesperson who is causing a bit of a skerfluffle at a time when possibly it's the new year? Things should probably be moving a little bit more peacefully. Do you have anything to say to the APC ruling party?
I'm looking forward to the time where they said they were going to reduce inflation to 15%. Like I said, we're holding them to their word. I'm looking forward to a time where a bag of rice is going to cost less than the minimum wage that has been proposed, that people still don't receive. I'm looking for a time where a mudu of gari can go down to 300, 350, as opposed to 1,000, 1,001 and 1,002, depending on if it's white or rare. I'm looking for a time where beans is going to cost less, so that even, people can feed. I'm looking for a time, this is my message to the APC. We should see them doing much more than talking. 18 months, Nigerians have died needlessly. The pressure is too much. They should work towards easing the pressure, unnecessary pressure on Nigerians. If they have made wrong decisions, it's time to backtrack and begin to look, take forensic account of things that have happened. The APC has a lot of work to do. I don't envy them, honestly, but then, like you rightly pointed out, we don't need a Felix Morka to keep, rubbing insults onto the injuries of Nigerians. It's like there's an open wound and somebody decides to come and pour salt on it, or decides to pour, something more abrasive or acidic on it. It just has to stop. I wish the APC well, but then again, they need to rein in the people that they have put in leadership. They should speak to Nigerians properly. Another advice I want to give is there should be more conversations going on. They promised a government of national unity. So I would expect that the people who are in the opposition, and I've said it before, it's not our fault that I think it was this government, the margin they say they won with is about 36%. So you can see that there are more people in the opposition. So a government of national unity is more important than a government of the national fabric that they went and printed some time ago. Right now, what they need to do is sit down with Nigerians, well-meaning Nigerians, sit down with everybody, hear them out, because you can't know it all. And clearly, they don't have all the answers. Get people who have run for office in various capacities, bring them onto the drawing board and let them begin to work together. Let Nigerians even see that unity, let Nigerians even see it. Then it will even help us. It will be a cue to Nigerians to say, okay, you're not my enemy because you're from a totally different thought process, or you're from a totally different party, an ethnic group, or whatever it is. There's so much that one can say. I wonder if I even have enough time.
Now, amidst fears and warnings of Nigeria sliding into a one-party state, what measures do you think can be taken to strengthen opposition parties, most of whom are experiencing one form of crisis or the other ahead of 2027, so as to at least be able to form a credible alternative to the ruling party?
More than 100,000 Americans have beaten diabetes thanks to a simple home method presented by Dr. Oz. Experts say that this method
it's just one phrase: electoral reforms. We should right now we should be working on electoral reforms, because it would seem as though what we have in place right now will always be against the opposition. And like Mr. Peter Obi rightfully said, it's a difficult and uphill task. But then we are not deterred, whether they threaten us or not. Do they have enough bullets to kill all of us? Do they have enough gas canisters to keep gassing us? The more they want to do away with us, the more some other people will come up. So electoral reforms is one place to start. And the APC themselves should get off their high horses and get ready to work, reduce the cost of governance. There was a time I was really applauding when Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually said, the Orasanya report was going to be, but we've not heard anything about that. I was really looking forward to it, but instead I've seen him backpedal and even increase his cabinet even more. So you see, these are the issues that Nigerians are up against.
And looking back and moving forward, what lessons can be learned through this entire experience, especially for the Labour Party as it sets its sights for 2027?
We're working on all of that. We're working on all of that, and we're working on the inner wranglings that we have within our party, within, and there are things I will not be sharing because I'm not at liberty to share, and even some of the internal whatever, I'm not aware of them. But I do know that we're working, assiduously to make sure that our party comes together and we do the right thing, because Nigerians had a lot of hope. They still have a lot of hope in us, those of us in the movement and the Labour Party, and we will not fail Nigerians, to the best of my knowledge. That's how I feel right now.
Well, former Labour Party spokesperson Nana Kazuri, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Just hear this lady speak. Sorry. Just hear this lady speaking with such power, such, everything is just flowing from her. I can feel her anger. I can feel her firmness. I can feel her integrity. Look at how it's flowing. Oh my goodness. Kudos to the Arise News journalists that were sitting next to that buffoon. They had the right, especially that lady. I can't remember her. I think it's Wimbai. I think somebody says Wimbai. Man, she hit the nail on the head. Instead of you to answer the questions, deal with the issues, you keep attacking personalities. I don't understand. You guys are the ones in power. If the people are feeling the impact of your policies, it will show. You won't even need any spokesperson to come and turn to twist himself into pretzels, just trying to explain. My goodness, what kind of mediocrity is this? It's so hard to watch. This man was twisting himself into pretzels just to explain. They go ask one question, is bringing history. What has Bangladesh got to do with what they were talking about? The man was talking about Bangladesh, talking about statistics. Assholes! Oh my God! Hey! It's so painful. That interview was painful to watch. I'm not going to lie to you. Damn! He get family members. These people just come and his mates are presidents. Look at the El Salvadorian president. Look at Traore. Look at Niger president. These people are doing stuff for their people. Look at the way people are gravitating towards them. It's not rocket science. If you're doing the work, it will show. You will not need so many spokespeople to come and be gaslighting and talking out of their asses. These people don't think, they think that Nigerians are the same Nigerians that they've been dealing with. They don't know people have woken up. The guy just came to make a complete fool of himself. My God. Hey! How much are they going to pay him for the crap he came to divulge on national news? How much is enough, my guy, on top of money and access to power? What sort of power? Power day and power. What sort of power is enough for you to now lower yourself lower than animals? Animals even get sense. Oh my goodness. Ah, Nigeria. Ah, nothing should happen to Peter Obi in all of this. All this nonsense they are saying, you should not touch the man. Oh, he's the one all of us we are looking up to. They should not touch him. They can do their madness, but they shouldn't touch that man. It's not going to play out the way they think. Oh, man. Aye. It's such a shame, Nigeria. Oh my God. It's a shame, oh, it's a shame. Who know the shame now? I don't know it to tell you. Hey.
Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzoma. Let's bring you the top stories we're tracking in the polity right now. National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party says it now recognizes Mr. Ude Okoye as the National Secretary of the party following an appeal for judgment. It's been a back and forth.
What's your credit card debt balance? If it's
Tell you also that the Independent Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has filed charges against the former Commissioner of Finance in Kaduna State, Bashir Saidu, over alleged financial misappropriation and money laundering at the Federal High Court in Kaduna. The embattled former commissioner was arrested some weeks ago by the Kaduna State Police Command over allegations of diversion of public funds, and later remanded at the Correctional Center in Kaduna State. He was charged alongside the staff of the Ministry of Finance, Ibrahim Mukhtar, on the two-count charge of money laundering. Mr. Saidu served as Commissioner for Local Government Affairs, was also the Chief of Staff to the government, Governor, and later Commissioner for Finance under the El Rufai administration. Okay, so big issues happening in our country, depending on where you turn. So I've got the right person to talk about all of the issues that across the country within the time we have. I'm being joined on the program by Mr. Omoyele Sowore, is the former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC, rights activist and lawyer. Mr. Sowore, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you and everyone. I'm not a lawyer, just so that you know. And then I started because I accompanied Deja Deyonju to his...
Oh, you're not a lawyer?
No, not a lawyer. Yeah, but I have appeared in court more than most lawyers in Nigeria.
Wow. Yes. We all thought you were a lawyer now.
No.
All right. So let's get straight to it. Broadly speaking, when you look at Nigeria, I know I see your activities on X and a couple of other places. There's a lot that is going on within your space. So if I were to ask you, what is the state of the nation? What would be your response?
Well, my response would be that the state of Nigerian nation is the state of anomy. That's my response. You cannot define what exactly is the state of Nigerian nation.
A lot of anomalies.
Anomalies, just anomalies everywhere in terms of security, in terms of healthcare, education, the general condition of our people, the economic condition, foreign policy. There's nothing you can piece together that will give you one single answer to your question. That's why it's called anomy.
Wow. Yes. So, okay, let's compartmentalize it, maybe break it down. So let's start with your assessment of the management of our resources under President Bola Tinubu. Let's begin from there.
Assessment is that it's total mismanagement of the resources of the country. And I'm not saying it because that's what people want to hear. It is because we were told as of about a year ago when they took over power, the first decision they made was that they were going to remove subsidy. And that whatever is saved from subsidy, will be applied to managing the economy better, to bring about prosperity, to bring about development, and all of that cannot be shown to anyone in the country. I just came back from my state, which is not far, Ondo State, and the state of infrastructure, road infrastructure, that's how I traveled, is the worst I've seen in a long time. I've not seen poverty like I've seen until in recent times. And you could tell that typically when people travel during Christmas and New Year, but this year, as I'm aware, a lot of people couldn't travel. If there was traffic on the way, it was caused by Nigerian police extorting money from travelers, not traffic due to volume of travel. Of course, yes. I documented a lot of them on our way home.
So you have facts to that effect?
Of course.
Okay, so
you can even find it on Google Map. When you're traveling between here and Ore, you just put your travel on Google. Everywhere you see red, most likely there's a police checkpoint there. So it's a satellite-induced fact.
So the pushback government always puts out when we have them on the programs, on our programs, to tell them, this is a set of things. They always say, but we told you that it's going to be worse before it gets better. Do you believe that?
No, they never told anybody it will get worse before it gets better. They actually said they're here to make it better. And they keep saying the same thing. But the question we need to ask ourselves in the media is that, are you talking to the right people? Because the president doesn't talk to you.
He had a media chat.
Well, that is a choreographed media chat. When you go to countries where people are serious about governance, the president doesn't have to invite some special journalists into a room to talk to them about it. They speak on the spur of the moment, on the spot, regarding what is happening as they're happening. But the choreographed media chat where you have some journalists who probably have been given questions, although they denied it, is not the kind of media chat. And the media chat once in 2 years, is that a joke?
So some of the questions that were asked, I know you have your own position as far as those questions were concerned, issues around whether he would have thought through the issue of fuel subsidy removal or phase it. He kept to his word and stuck to his guns and said, look, I don't regret what I did. I think I did the right thing and I stand by it.
But the Nigerian people regret that they didn't listen to us in 2022, 2023, that this was going to be their fate. The people who are getting beaten by the economic situation regret everything about where the country is today. They cannot regret because they are the ones benefiting from it. One of the things the president said when he had a media chat I listened to, which was a total joke, was that he had a friend who had 4 Rolls Royces, and now he's now driving a Honda car, right? And nobody questioned, why did your friend have 4 Rolls Royces? But that's not the issue. Ask the president. You came into office with a small private jet. Now you have a jumbo jet. Your situation is definitely better. You came into office with a small Mercedes-Benz car. Now you are driving a gigantic Escalade. And,
but he was a rich man before he became president.
No, he didn't buy the jet with his own money. He bought it from the resources of Nigeria. And that was a $150 million jet.
But they say it was highly discounted. Without speaking for them, I'm just putting back what they are telling you.
So did they show you the paperwork that was discounted? You see, because the transaction that could have been made public. But I'm just telling you, I don't need to go in that direction. That was a lie. But I'm just telling you that they are better off than they came. But Nigerian people are worse off than they met them.
If things are as bad, and apparently things are really terrible in terms of the economy, everybody could have, even they admit to that effect.
Yes.
Why do you think the Nigerian people are quiet or just holding back? Some are saying we're docile. I don't know what word to use and describe. There is no such strong agitation. You are in the opposition.
Yeah.
You are both a right activist and a politician, so you wear 2 caps. And then we've seen opposition not as active as it should be. So why do you think this is going on?
Well, I will explain it in 2 ways. One of it is scientific. And the scientific part is that Nigerians have a gene in their DNA it's called the happiness gene. Whatever the situation, they'll be happy. Into West Africa. This is true, scientifically. And that's why Nigerians are known as the happiest people in the world, even though they face the worst condition of life or in life. The second aspect of it, it's not true. Nigerians actually came together in August of 2024 and had a massive pushback against the government through the End Bad Governance.
10 days End Bad
Yes,
Governance.
so, and it happened for 10 days. Probably it's not precedented that Nigerians have fought consistently for that long, after an election, not after an election was disputed, even though the 2023 election is disputed. But the resistance was against poverty and hardship. So you cannot claim that such people across the country that fought against the government face some of the most dangerous conditions against police, army, including after the protests, children being charged with and for treason. You can't claim that those people are docile. That's my opinion.
So that brings me to the question of how safe the civic space is. I know you're a big player in that space.
Yeah.
And I know that you've been following up some cases recently. How do you assess this government in its management and response to dissenting voices?
Well, what is sad about it, and that's why people should be careful with when people come into or try to come into political office with fake credentials, snake oil, that we're going through some of the worst attack on civil rights or civil liberty by the same people who claim that they were civil rights activists. The president reportedly left this country, fled this country because he was running away from military dictators. The people who are part of his regime claim they used to be part of the National Democratic Coalition, ADECO, and they fought against military. But they have imposed some of the worst human rights abuse on the Nigerian people since they came into power. I just described to you charging children for treason, which has never happened before in this country, not even under military rule. We've seen situations where journalists were attacked during August protests, and some of your journalists were also actually attacked.
Yeah, where we know.
Including in Lagos on live TV. We've seen situations where journalists have been charged for cybercrime, bloggers. People are languishing in jail. We just had a situation with Dele Farotimi, who was arrested and transported across state line to Ekiti to be jailed for writing a book that they said a dispute, which is completely a civil matter. And before you jump on it and say it's a state matter, don't forget that the Federal Attorney General also filed an against Dele Farotimi while he was facing the so-called state charge of offensive publication in Ekiti State, which some has disputed doesn't even exist. So we have some bloggers right now who are languishing in detention, and all these detentions we are talking about are carried out by the state. Because whenever you go to the
by
courts,
what law are they putting them in detention? What are they?
Well, it's usually the cybercrime.
Because I want to put up, if I can have that picture of the cybercrime law, because some provisions of that cybercrime law
have been struck down.
Have been repealed.
Exactly.
So what exactly are they being?
The police just outrightly refuse to accept the repeal of the law.
So if I can get all of this, maybe when they get to that particular session, this was the old law.
Section 24.
Yes, this is like the 2015 part. I want to get to hey, it knows to be false for the purpose of annoyance and see all those words. If my producer can hold this is a annoyance, inconvenience, danger, obstruction. I don't know how this is justiciable. Anyway, criminal intimidation, enmity, hatred, ill will, and all of that. So if we go to the next law, if they can show me the next one, 2024, the amended portion, because I know you've been interacting with a lot of these people.
Not just I'm interacting, I'm actually facing cybercrime.
Okay, so this is the latest law.
Yes.
It knows to be false for the purpose of causing a breakdown of law and order, posing a threat to life, and causing such message to be sent. The reason, you're also a stakeholder in the Nigerian in the Nigerian state.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering where, if this is the amended law, if people were charged in the previous one, I know you say you're not a lawyer, but you've been around the law.
No, I'm actually facing cybercrime charges myself currently.
What did you do?
Well, they said Sahara Reporters, which is a publication I founded, wrote a story against the Senator Ned Owoko that he had to point set up a foundation to eradicate mosquito. And Sahara Reporters found out that he wasn't eradicating because we found mosquitoes in his compound in Abuja. So that if you can't eradicate the one in your compound, how are you eradicating on the continent of Africa? So it turns out to be a scam. So I was arrested when I was still under lock and key in Abuja for a different offense, which was treason that you know about. and charged before a federal high court in Abuja, Justice in Wetin, for annoying him. Same rubbish, you see. But
how do you prove annoyance in court?
Exactly.
I'm just curious.
In fact, as at now, we've appeared almost 5 times. They haven't been able to charge me. You know, like,
you know what?
In the sense that I will appear and will say, look, you haven't fulfilled any of these conditions.
Already, the reason
but they have, what I wanted to say, which is important, is that portion has been expunged from the cyber.
It's been repealed, yes.
It's been repealed. But in my own case, they argue that...
Or amended, sorry, the word is amended now.
Whichever way you want to put it. They argue in my own case that it applies to me because I was charged before the amendment. But what happens to people who were charged after the amendment is the conversation you and I are having here. Why are you still arresting people and charging them because they annoy individuals? You cause them because they don't anymore. And what we're saying, for those of us who are carpenters, because that's how lawyers refer to non-lawyers, is that, busybody non-lawyers like me, is that there are civil provisions for libel, defamation, and slander out there. So take that route. And if you can prove your case, you get damages paid to you. So that's how it is done world over. But most importantly, if you are a public official, if you have offered yourself for public, it is very difficult to prove libel.
So
even in advanced society.
So let's balance because you wanted to be president, and I don't know whether you still want to be president. Someday somebody is going to speak against you if you occupy that office somewhere. How do we balance the issue of rights, responsibility? Because we need to balance that.
No, see, if you are going to be president of any country in the world, even if it's a banana republic, your least worry should be what the citizens say to you or say about you. For my 24 years in the US, I watch late night shows, which you are aware of. There's nothing else they do on the late night shows and ridicule their leaders. They ridicule what they are wearing, how they speak, what they have said. If you go to supermarkets in the US, they have a section dedicated to tabloids. The headlines are plainly false. They will show you a picture of Obama and his wife and say that both of them are male. And everybody knows Michelle is female, right? They still even do it on Twitter till yesterday. So if you are president and you are not fit for the presidency. So you don't, as president, go after irrelevancies. So I'm not going to, even as it is now, I get attacked, ridiculed, just as a public figure. I've never sued anybody for it before. People have lied outrightly against me. I'm not going to be running to court and try to get you to answer to charges when I know that I can simply, by disputing it, provide evidence, show that I'm not the person you are talking about. Those things don't apply to me. But even as that, I'm a private citizen. So if I'm president and I'm going to worry about what you say about me, what did I hire the assistants to speak for me for?
Are you going to run again for office?
That is not the conversation we came here for.
Yes, I'm just asking.
The reason I'm saying that
as an aside.
I'm just saying that the reason I'm saying that is I'm not trying to escape. And I'm one of the candidates. I'm not a 4-year, electoral candidate. I run all the time, both physically and I run on issues. So if I'm going to make that decision, of course, I'll let you know.
Okay, let's talk about election and electoral reform. Yeah. We haven't seen the electoral reform agenda of this administration. If you were to put it forward to them, so for instance, Muhammadu Buhari was able to put out the issue of not too young to run. So we have the ages dropped for certain people to start running into run offices. There are things people expect to happen in terms of maybe IREV and the management of our election. What exactly would you like to see in the reform? Because constitutional amendment is taking place.
The problem is that we're expecting the people who want to benefit from this electoral malfeasance, reforming the electoral process. It's not going to happen. Electoral reforms, they have already shown, you are the one who have not seen it yet. They've already populated INEC with APC members, card carrier members.
You have evidence of that?
Of course, I do. And you do too. They've already...
No, you're telling me.
Yes. They've already appointed 11 Supreme Court justices under the Tinubu regime. I have evidence of that. You do too. You may claim that, well, they are qualified to be elevated, but most Nigerians didn't know all these things. And these are the people who will determine the next election. So they have kept INEC under their own control. But if you don't know, just check the off-season elections they did recently. how they went. So if anybody's out there expecting to see a different electoral reform process, well, I have a bridge to
So
start to
are you
give my
saying
knowledge.
that? Are you saying that by your claims now we should just lift our hands and give up?
No, we
Because
shouldn't.
We can't.
No, we shouldn't. And that's what I
That's why I'm
always
talking
tell
about the
people.
reform.
Is the reason why I tell people who always come after election to cry that the best time to fight is before elections, because you should force the hand of the state and the operators of the electoral system to be clear about what you want to see in an election. If you don't, and the next time we see you is after election, and you say, well, you're keeping an eye on the judiciary, I'm sorry for your eyes, because you're looking directly in the sun. You might end up with conjunctivitis.
So if we want to start that process you talked about now, where do we start from?
We have to be very clear about this demand, be united about it, and force the hand of the government through protests, through all kinds of means, because you're not going to get what you need by appealing to them. It's not going to work. It's very impervious to public pressure. So, because the reason is what I stated earlier, they used to be in charge of pressurizing the government. So it's difficult to deal with characters who know the game without changing the players and changing the game too.
For the ones ensuring the job always gets done, and the ones wearing many hats, Grainger offers professional-grade industrial supplies and real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Or maybe not more before the final note. Yes. The government is saying that because of the End Bad Governance protest, which you were actively part of, lending your voice and all of that, they are putting together a national youth conference this year. The president said it in his message, I think the New Year message or so. What do you expect to come out of those kind of conferences? What do you think is the agenda at the end of the day?
The agenda is to compensate some young people who are in their corner. You know, it's just like in that the Nigerian government is relating with National Association of Nigerian Students, and you expect the students to be represented at such table, when the people who are NANS leader today mostly are not even students. They are students without institutions. So these young people they are calling to a conference are probably Sheyi Tinubu's friends, not Nigerian youths, because they cannot afford to have the real youths on the table.
If they invite you, would you be there?
No, I'm no longer a youth. I might be youthful.
You represent the youths. You're in mid-generation. You're in between the youths and the elders.
If I'm invited, I will not go. So let's just be clear about that, because I know in advance that this is a joke. And this is the same thing I said about the conference that Obasanjo held, the same thing with Jonathan's conference. So if nothing came out of those conferences, because they've been pre-planned to fail, nothing will come out of this. But, you know, they want young people to feel like, oh, they belong. So you come to a National Youth Conference, of course, they will get it live streamed, you know, they will get them compensated. And at the end of it, nothing will come out of it. If youth want to take over power in this country, they don't need a youth conference. They need to bond together and take power.
I think the very first time I saw you on TV, on video, was, I think, on 1993, 1994, during the time of MK Abiola. You've been around for a long time.
I have been.
So what is Nigeria missing? Because it feels like there's nothing that is going on that is really working in your books. What is really working? It's like everything has collapsed in your book.
If something was going on, you would know. You know, like you mentioned, 1993 was the first time you saw me, but that's not the first time I started. I started in 1989, when I was about 18 years old. You know, when you saw me in 1993, you know, on the lighter side, John Momo was a reporter. Now he's probably a stay-at-home granddad. That's how long we've been at this struggle, some 35 years ago, thereabout. But the point to be made is that you also have to call on the youths to also define what they want. Any society in the world where young people are more comfortable with becoming special assistants and advisors to those in power. And when they see young people in other parts of the world taking over power, they praise it. But when it comes to their own country, they prefer old grandfathers or the people we call their ancestors. That society is not likely to move anywhere in the direction of progress anytime soon, because youth comes with energy. That is why there's a retirement age for civil servants. So we reached a level where we started with young people, the people that brought about independence in Nigeria. In fact, the first political party in Nigeria was called National Youth Party or something like that, Babat Macaulay and the rest of them. The people who fought for independence were in their 20s, governors 23 years old, Obasanjo then when they became president at first were 30s, Buhari when he was first president was 42. But now, in 2025, you don't even know the age of your president. Is that old?
Okay. There's a lot to unpack. By the way, my boss, John Momo, is still active. He's not.
He doesn't do street reporting anymore.
No, he has us to do that for him.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So
I'm just telling you, and I appreciate him because I remember that day exactly. We used to all go out. They will call us. We'll call them in advance, and they will meet us. It's him and Lekon, who's now late. He died in an accident around here. Very brilliant reporter. So yes, I remember him and. I understand he's still active, but not on the streets anymore. And he deserves it, by the way.
Yeah. Omoyele Sowore is a former presidential candidate of the AAC, an activist. Just told us the lawyer.
My people, some of what Sowore said, me, I agree with you. Anybody that is, like I said, me, I don't believe that there's going to be an election in 2027. But if you guys are talking about an election, do you guys have to start having real conversations surrounding, what's it called? What's going to happen with INEC? Okay? What's going to happen with INEC? How are they going to restructure it? Because this man is still, where is the INEC chairman? We never see INEC chairman. We never see INEC chairman. You understand? So these things, we need to ask these questions. We need to be discussing those justices, Supreme Court justice. How are they going to do it? Do you understand? What are the structures? Exactly. Sake, welcome, my brother. Welcome. Electoral reforms. Thank you very much, Sake. Electoral reforms. We got to be discussing if that's what you guys want. You guys have to move early and sharp. The people that you're dealing with are monsters, literally. They will gaslight you every turn. You guys saw one, hey, old man that is doing national secretary when he mates the wrong countries. Oh, you see me, when I hear people, sometimes I hear people say, oh, man, you're going to, if they give you SSA, take, Wetin be SSA? What does that mean? Do you know what skills I have? Do you think it's on the level of doing SSA? Do you understand? It's not about the money. It's about impact. Old men, old women just satisfied with licking people's boots. When you can be transforming the lives of your community and lives of your people, you are busy licking boots. God forbid. Give me a role like Dora Akinyuli. Is it Akunyuli? Sorry, if I don't say it right, please forgive me. Give me a position like our mama. What's her name? Okonjo Iweala. What they talk? Give me senator. We're talking about how to transform, major transformation of the lives of. Give me governorship. Are you okay? So if you guys are talking about election, it needs to start now. No time for before you know what's happening. 2027 is here. Who's talking about electoral reforms? If that's what you guys, the direction that you guys want to go. That looks like Sowore said, they are having national youths, whatever. They have no interest in them. They're just going to be friends of Sheyi that will just fool. Meanwhile, the last election they had for, is it the SCG government or president or whatever, Sheyi Tinubu was recommending people for them. Some of those people are not students. What are people talking about? I understand what this man is saying, no. I hear what he's saying. It's madness. If you guys want an election, you guys need to be talking about so many of these reforms. You need to be talking to the police. You need to be talking to the military. You need to be dealing with the issues regarding judiciary. So, what's his name? Delefaro to me has put something in place for us there. Who's talking about the electoral reforms? Personally, I don't see, like I said, I don't see an election with all these people that you people have as politicians. Nothing to write home about. They are all gaslighters. They are all propagandists. They don't want anything to improve for you. They are all about their pockets. All. Traore has returned back to his country. Your T-Pain is still in Ghana. What's he still doing there? When there is pain and tears on the ground, where there are people living outside of their homes in IDP camps, what is he still doing there? To show you don't have anybody. You Nigerians they've become orphaned. You don't have a president. The man doesn't give a damn about you. He doesn't. There's trouble every corner. They not get what they fit do. Did you guys listen to the interview of the military man that went to Al Jazeera? For the first time, that man made some sense. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. So this man is a bit talk like this. Eh? Did you guys see some of his interviews? He said the real fight in the north is between the Hausa and the Fulani and the Hausa. He said it, bold-faced, with his chest up. It's not what we've been talking since. People have been denying, lying. People come and gaslight you. They tell you they don't need, they're trying to trace the money. Where are those people getting superior weapons? Where are they getting it from? Who is funding them? These people have what's it called? Foreign currency. Who is giving them the foreign currency? Who's funding them? That's what this man said. If you guys haven't seen that interview, go and watch it on Al Jazeera. And somebody will now come and tell me that election will be more. Everybody, Nigerians now, everybody here is supposed to be back right now. If you guys want to talk, you want to push for election 2027, this is the time to start the work, not later on. Now, the groundwork starts now. We should be calling for electoral reform. We should be shaking the table until it breaks. Other than that, don't come show up 2027 and expect magic. I'm not following people to do court. Sorry. And they follow and do that charade when we do 2023. I remove myself. I will provide my platform though, so that you guys can come and talk yourselves out. But I'm not going to put no way. We watched how these people stole the election. Nothing happened. No, I beg go. So with that, my people, I end it here. Now this one has to make a call. Now Morka matter bring me call here. Other things don't add. I go update the title of the video. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you that was able to join. I'll see you guys on my next one. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.